A person's impact on humanity is the best way to determine whether he or she deserves to be celebrated. For Dr. Adefumilola Tolulope Williams Daudu, a medical doctor by training, clocking 50, was special.
What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me.
In this edition of People and Events, we will seek to find out why many say she is a special woman in many ways. Welcome to the program. My name is Tayelulu Oladuti. Let's take a message, then we will take you on a journey we have tagged Celebration of Grace.
Roll call group. Celebrate people, success, events.
Erinjiyan Ekiti is a hilly community in Ekiti State, and the indigents are predominantly farmers. It is the birthplace of Adefumilola Tolulope Williams Daudu, a medical practitioner, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and crusader for women development. She is clearly a child of destiny. A child of destiny.
I was born a premature into the fact that, you know, my dad and my mom had issued. In fact, my immediate senior sister took 10 years from me. So, you know, after 10 years, my mom's siblings saw that my mom was pregnant. And immediately they said, "You pregnant? For who?" Somebody that was not living together with her husband getting pregnant. And everybody would be thinking that, okay, the pregnancy was actually for another man. But alas, my grandmother told me that he told my mom that if this pregnancy was for my dad, the same father to my elder siblings, that this pregnancy was not going to be. My mom's immediate junior sister was an headmistress, though late now. Took her to, you know, all those, to put some concoction together so that they could abort the pregnancy in a traditional way. But she saw blood outrightly, that was what I was told. But her tummy continued to grow. My second guess was that maybe it was most of all those things they gave her. That was the reason why I was giving birth to at 7.5 months.
Eni Opa was raised by her maternal grandmother, Madam Elizabeth Elafunke Omodele, because she lost her biological mother before age 5. Mama Elafunke, who was determined to ensure that Fumilola had Western education, enrolled her at St. Paul's Early Primary School, Erinjiyan.
Her mates and teachers, they all like her because of her performances. She will hardly offend anybody. Very neat and beautiful.
When I got to primary 5, my brother of blessed memory, he took common entrance for me, and I sat with my seniors, and to the glory of God alone, I was the only one that passed to the point of calling me for interview.
When I was small, that I started primary school, she'll be the one to hold my hand when we're going. Then I will carry my slate. We do call it slate then. She will hold my hand to school. When I'm not fast, she will collect that slate from me, and we'll go together. She will say, I don't want to be late too. And when we finish too, after closing, she will be the first person to come to the class to come and pick me.
For her secondary education, her brother, who was at the time in a career Akoko, enrolled her at Federal Government Girls College, New Busa, but withdrew her after a few weeks because of health challenges and moved her to Unity Secondary School, Ekpemi-Akoko, but the situation was the same. So he again moved her to Mount Carmel Girls Secondary School, Ikare, to enable him monitor her progress with ease. She eventually became the school's senior prefect.
Because of the peculiarities I noticed in Fumilola, I became more interested in her issue. Punctuality in school, intelligence, neatness, very articulate, looks a promising girl. Fumilola is one of the girls of those days that a mother could be proud of.
Fumilola is honest to import, a giver. During our secondary school days, just ask her anything. If that thing is in her capacity, she will give it to you.
Ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn gangan àkọ́bí ìyá wọn òun ni ọkọ mi. Bẹ̀t kété tí mo wọlé wọn, mo tún gba gbogbo wọn bí ọmọ àti bí àbúrò. And due respect tó ń fún ọkọ mi náà ń fún mi. Dr. Mrs. Williams ó jẹ́ ọmọ kan tó ní ọgbọ́n. Láti kékeré wá ló ti wà intelligent. Ọpọlọ yìí ló jẹ́ kí ẹ̀gbọ́n wọn àti èmi ká ní much interest in her. Ní Mount Carmel, bọ́n máa gba 16 prizes, mo la gba 12.
From secondary school, she proceeded to University of Ilorin, although she made the cutoff mark for medicine, which she applied for. She arrived the school after the registration for medicine had closed because she didn't get her JAMB result in good time.
My uncle, then lecturer at the University of Ilorin, advised that I should come to the Faculty of Agric. So, but you know how it will be when they admitted you for medicine and you have to end up in Agric. So at the end of it all, he just told me that if I could make a very good grade, I could change my course back to medicine. And as God will have it, I was able to do very well.
Back in University of Ilorin, then I've not even had the mind to propose, even to our sister, let alone being an in-law. But what I noticed about that then in the fellowship, in Deeper Life Campus Fellowship, I see her serious things in whatever she sets her mind to do. Seriousness in worship, seriousness, in coming to fellowship, seriousness in studying.
Fumilola Famuyide got married to Olurotimi Williams Daudo in 2001.
Fumilola was very, very close to my sister. They were like prayer mates or something. I would see them together, going to prayer meetings and all that. And yeah, but it was difficult for me to have access to her, really, except that we exchanged pleasantries and, all that. The first thing I did, really, was to approach my sister. And I said to her that, look, I admired, this lady, who was very, 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 very close to you and all that. And I would have loved that she, became my wife. And the instant reaction of my wife, my sister then, was that, I would have loved it as well, but for me, would she accept?
Auntie, that we usually call, that's how we call his sister. They lost somebody in their hometown. So from the church, they said about 4 of us should go for the burial in Ikaram. So I joined the vehicle of one of one of those men in church, that one of the 4 of us that we entered, we took his vehicle to Ikaram. So when they left me, because Auntie said I should help her serve some things to the people, to the guests. So they left me behind. And when they left me behind, it was getting to around 6:30. So, and I went to Auntie that, these people, they left. Now, how would I get to Ikare? So, and nobody was coming to Ikare. And Auntie said, hey, that is my brother's trouble. Everybody knew the way my brother, the place that I occupy. I occupied in the life of my brother. So she said, who would accompany me to Ikare? That was how he said, Rotimi, please come and accompany Fumi, my church member, to Ikare for me. Then that he will sleep over at Ikare and come back to Ikaram the following day. He was so eager to actually accompany me. So when we got to the gate, to our gate, he was so clear and plain. He said, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. I looked at him. It was, at that point, I didn't even know what to say. But I just left him and I went my way. But I couldn't sleep. So the following morning, I now went to knock their door and I accepted. Incidentally,
2 days before then, a big uncle of mine came around by the name Engineer Shegun Agoy George. And I was having a conversation with Fumi, when he came to visit him. And he saw her, and we were there for a while. And after she left, Engineer Shegun Agoy George, the big bros, he said to me that, Rotimi, what do you think of marrying this lady? That was just 3 days before our Ikaram trip.
Despite her achievement and everything, she has a good home. She maintains it. She respects her husband. She's very proud of her home.
For Dr. Mrs. Fumilola Williams Daudu, family is everything.
She's a wonderful mother. I must confess to that. The way she cares for our children is something amazing. And even as a man, I just discovered that a whole lot of decisions about the family I've left into her hands to take, because over the years I have come to trust my wife to make the best decision that is in the best interest of every member of the family. I've come to realize the fact that my wife is a good manager of resources. That is one thing that beats my imagination every day.
From time immemorial, my mom has been the most consistent training model in my life. Right from birth, even the things I can't remember, the things I have only glimpses or memories of, I can still remember her always being there, always advising us, taking care of us. At some point in our lives, of course, we did relocate to Canada, and as much as she was working, she was a medical doctor there, she had night shifts, she always made time for all of us. She always came to school when they needed her to come to school. She always took us out. She made time even in a busy schedule, which is something I did not understand until actually a couple years ago, when I too tried to work similar shifts, and it's something I grew to appreciate more and more. My mom has always been a stickler for discipline. She doesn't tolerate nonsense. She makes sure her kids are also in that line. She always takes time to sit down, even at times when in the media she corrects you and maybe you don't get it at that moment. She calls you aside later to try and explain or understand. Of course, being a stickler at times, you can be harsh in the moment, so at times she has to recall herself back to at least pass that message properly, which is something that has really helped us.
Her journey as a medical doctor has been really eventful.
Dr. Akerui, the owner of MUMAC Specialist Hospital, was our CMD then. He was actually the one that actually interviewed me for job And I could remember that day because I was pregnant for my first son. He said, "You're pregnant?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Really? How could they give me a female that, because of..." I said, "Sir, pregnancy is not a disease." So that was the quote that I said. He said, "Okay, I will send you to surgery." So I started with surgery. The late Dr. Adiyeri of Shekina was our SMO. I had good time, even with nurses in the theater. As an house officer, I performed prostatectomy. Name the surgeries. Mr. Adiji was a theater nurse. I had good time. When I got to medicine, that was when I met another beautiful soul. May God rest her soul, late Dr. Mrs. Jubate. Every skills that I needed to Ghana, I was given.
She has this empathy. She put herself in position of patience. In fact, at the state hospital there, Akure, because of her attitude to patients, she was made the chairperson of indigent patients in the hospital. Indigent patients are these patients that have nobody to cater for them. They are just there. She will go out of her way to solicit for funds for them.
Some doctors have attended to me, both in Nigeria and abroad. But by the time I got to know her, I now find out that she is one of the finest consultant doctors that God has sent to the world.
I've always found her very warm, very sympathetic, very lively, and not found wanting in her profession.
I met Dr. Mrs. Daudi through a friend, Chief Mrs. Yinka Faloyi. We are close friends, and in 2014, we were, advancing in age probably. We had some health issues, and then I suddenly saw that my friend was sprightly and well and so on, and I said, "My friend, come, where did you go to?" She said, "There's a doctor in town that she will take me to her," and she took me to Dr. Mrs. Daudi. By that time, she was around the Lukayode area. She hasn't built that hospital. What attracted me to her was that immediately we entered her consulting room. It was the smile. There was this beautiful smile.
Shortly before her 40th birthday in December 2013, Dr. Fumilola Williams Daudu, with the consent of her husband, took a decision to celebrate the day with her husband's kinsmen at Karam, and thus began her medical outreach.
We went and we attended to about 230 people. We did that in December. The feedback was just too amazing. In fact, when he saw it, he now said, that thing, people have been calling. That was in September of the following year. There was a woman that was actually expecting to die. At that time, she had diabetes, but she didn't know. So it was one of the screening. And I think this thing was very, very high. Her blood sugar. So, and no money. So, we will give drugs that will last them for a year.
The Ikaram community is lucky to have Dr. Mrs. Fungola Williams-Daudu as one of our daughters. I use the word daughter because by her actions, she has proven that she's more than a daughter-in-law, that she's actually a daughter of Ikaram. Many members of the community had eye surgery done free of charge. Many of them had other type of treatment carried out during this medical outreach. And this medical outreach has also changed the perception of the people that illnesses are not caused by witches or wizards.
Nǹkan tó ti ṣe sí Káràmù yìí àtòun àtọkọ ẹ̀ tá a fi kú àlejẹ tán kò dẹ̀ lè parẹ́ ní Káràmù láéláé.
Àtìgbà tó ti dé Káràmù ni mo ti mọ̀ sí rere. Ó ń ṣe gudugudu méje yàyà mẹ́fà. Èmi tí mo jẹ́ ìyá ọkọ ẹ̀ yìí lórí aṣọ lórí jíjẹ lórí mímu kò sí nǹkan tó fi ń jẹ mí níyà. Kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tí mo béèrè tí bí mi ti ẹ̀ béèrè á fún mi.
Àdúrà mi ni sí Ọlọ́run ni pé àyè tó wà yìí ó ì kéré sípò tọ́lọ́run máa sún dé.
Now, the medical outreach is 10 years.
What is free to somebody is being paid for by another person. And it is that person that is paying for it that knows the extent that he has gone and the sacrifice he has made to get to that point. We thank God for the type of the grace God has given her.
God, the everlasting Father, will be with her abundantly, and whatever he lay on his hand will prosper.
For Dr. Daudu Williams to have contemplated in celebrating her birthday through this medical mission, we have to thank her exceedingly for having that milk of honey to humanity in her mind.
Dr. Fumilola Williams-Daudu is also an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur, she's a go-getter. She can easily turn 1 naira to be 1 million and above. She's a very hard-working woman. And she's not just going alone. She's a woman, she's one of the kind person that women supporting women. She carries virtually everybody along with her.
At 50, the wishes for her are enormous.
She's a woman that loves sowing into life of people.
God continues to bless her and increase her even more, and lets others also appreciate the quality of the woman she is.
I wish her all the best, all good things that she deserves to have in life.
She will grow to be 60, 70, 80, up to 100, as God will want her to be.
I wish her success in everything that she lays her hands on.
It is a prayer that Fumilola bó ṣe ń bomirin ọgbà ọlọ́gbà, ọgbà tiẹ̀ náà kò ní gbẹ.
Every plan that God has designed for her, surely over her children, over her husband, over her home, the Lord will perfect all and it will be fulfilled in Jesus' name.
Ohun gbogbo tán dẹ̀ ti fàárọ̀ kó jọ kò ní bàjẹ́.
We wish her a very happy birthday and pray that God Almighty will keep her alive for at least the next 50 years.
50? 50 is a magical number. And I wish her very many happy returns of the day.
I wish her what I wish myself.
God will continue to bless her, give her longer life, longer life than myself, so that our usefulness to the world will continue.
On this occasion, I can only wish you, more wonderful years ahead. I pray you will live in good health, sound health, as you cater for the health of others. I know God is also attending to your own health. You will live long, I have no doubt about that. Absolutely. By the grace of God, you will live long. You abound in grace.
What shall I render to Jehovah? For he has done so very much for me.
This is wishing Dr. Fumilola Williams Daud many happy returns. That's our package this week. Thank you for watching. Please join us next week. To have your events on this program, please call the number on your screen. I am Tayelulu Oladuti. Have a great evening.